Hi, I'm Tommy Lee with Northern ADV. I just wanted to spend a minute or two talking about my bike here. A few of you have asked me what I ride. This is a 2010 Suzuki V-Strom 650. It's classified as an adventure bike, which is kind of a big dual sport. I'm a fairly new rider, so I was going through trying to figure out what kind of bike I wanted. I'd love to have 6 bikes, but I can't. So when I first learned to ride, I bought a little Yamaha Virago 250. I think they're called V-Stars now, but it was a perfect bike to learn on. It was so easy to ride. Just really comfortable, and I'm a shorter fella, so it was a shorter bike, and it really fit me well, and I'm glad I did that. It was a really good bike to learn on. But then I quickly realized that it's not a very versatile bike, and for the kind of riding that I would like to do, it just wasn't going to do the job. So I figured, okay, I need something with more power, so I need a larger engine, more cc's. I quite often ride with my wife, so I figured I should probably get a bike that is comfortable carrying a passenger, so there's another consideration. I wanted to get a bike that I would be comfortable riding long distances on, so a comfortable seat. I wanted to get a bike that I could load up with all kinds of gear, so I needed a luggage capacity. I had a budget in mind, so I wasn't about to go buy a new bike. I had a certain amount of money that in mind that I wanted to stay under, so I was looking for a bike that would fit into that as well. There were some other considerations there as well, but those were the main criteria. So something with more cc's, well, that's pretty broad. That can be, coming from a 250, that can be almost anything else. Something that would carry a passenger, well, that, and comfortably, so that ruled out most of the dual sports on the market. So I needed something a little bigger than a dual sport. Now, I plan on going across the country. Again, I'm not saying you can't do that on a dual sport or even a 250. I see videos, people going across Canada on a old 90 Honda. Whatever you got will work. You can do what you want. But to be comfortable on a ride like that, I needed a comfortable seat for myself so I could go long hours without getting tired in the saddle. So I looked at that. I started going online, Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, and I started narrowing it down to a few different bikes. And I was looking at this point, I wanted the off-road capabilities as well. I should have mentioned that before. I wanted to be able to comfortably get off the highway, go on gravel roads, get on some trails. I'm not going to be doing, BDR ride. I'm not going to be doing a lot of the real technical stuff. I know that going in. Maybe in a few years I'll want to do some of that. Then I'll look at maybe a lighter bike. But right now, that wasn't a real weight wasn't a real it didn't weight very high on the criteria list, put it that way. So the V-Strom is a 650. Also comes in a 1000cc model. From what I've read, from the videos I've watched, a 650 is plenty. The 1000cc is overkill. We're in North America. We're not riding on the Autobahn. With my wife on this bike, I have plenty of acceleration to pass anybody I want to pass on the highway. The bike will comfortably, now the speed limit here in Ontario, Northern Ontario, and most of our highways is 90 kilometers an hour. If you get on the 400 series highways is a little bit higher. Out west, if you're heading, you got the number 1 going across Alberta, I think maybe you can go 110 or 120 maybe. But anyway, speed limits are speed limits. Yes, this bike will do I think it does 188 kilometers an hour. I'm never going to ride that fast on it. With my wife on the back, again, we can comfortably ride 120 without question and have plenty of acceleration to pass. I saw no need to get anything larger than a 650. So anyway, that satisfied the power, the engine criteria. This particular one is set up with a 50-50 tire. As you can see, it's got knobby tires on it. I'm very, very comfortable on gravel roads with this bike. With my Virago, I would drive slower. You could do it, but with street tires, you're going to take it easy. You're not going to push it. And I don't push it anyway by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm much more comfortable on gravel roads and trails with a bike set up like this. So that criteria was fine. Luggage capacity. I found this one, and it came with the saddlebag. So I've got the 2 side panniers and I've got the top box. I'm amazed at the storage capacity of this bike. These bags are hard cases and they're tough. I've laid it down in the bush a few times and those cases have taken a few scuffs here and there as I've rubbed down a birch tree and different things. But you know what? I've laid it down a few times and those cases totally protect my signal lights and, you know, other things, other parts of the bike. The bike doesn't have a scratch other than those side cases. A lot of guys will swear by soft cases. You know what? I guess if you got them packed pretty substantially, they might offer the same sort of protection for your bike. I'm not sure on that, but these do. I'm really happy with them. I've got a custom saddleman seat on this bike. It is so comfortable. I can easily ride all day. I haven't gone out any huge runs, but you know, I've put 700 kilometers, 800 kilometers, oh, probably more than that, probably 850, close to 900 on in a day. And yeah, you feel it at the end of the day. You're kind of stiff and sore, but it really extends your comfort level for much longer with that custom seat. I love it. Again, it's got a nice wide passenger seat. It's very comfortable for a passenger. The top box provides a backrest that, just looking at it, doesn't look all that comfortable. It is. It's perfectly adequate. If you want to add a little cushion in there, if your passenger figures you need a little extra cushion, that's not a problem to do that. When I load up and go for camping trips, whether I'm going overnight or whether I'm going on multiple days, pretty much going to bring the same stuff. Maybe a couple extra pairs of socks and underwear, but anyway, pretty much the same stuff. I can fit everything into my bags. I like to keep my tent and my sleeping bag on my passenger seat. It provides a nice backrest for me if I'm going for a longer distance. It's kind of nice to have that too. So it does that. Fuel range, this thing's second to none. I've compared it to a Honda CB500X. It's about the same. Not necessarily the range, but the fuel economy. I don't know what else to say. I think there's other good choices out there as well. I was looking closely at the Kawasaki Versys. The V-Strom has a more comfortable seat, especially for your passengers. But if you're carrying a passenger is not an issue, then that opens up more options for you. I looked at another cruiser style bike. Should I get a Yamaha V-Star 650 or something like that? And again, it's just not going to do what I need it to do. As nice or as easy as or as comfortable as this bike is. So I've heard it said that the best bike is the one you have, and I totally am 100% into that. I agree. It's not all about buying the best bike. You know, I could spend more money and have some kind of BMW or some, I don't know. There's all kinds of different bikes out there. But it's about enjoying the bike that you have. Initially, try to pick a bike that's going to suit your needs. That's important. But you can stretch things, and you can take whatever bike you have and you can make it work for you. You know. If I was planning on doing a lot of highway driving, strictly highway driving, and I was going to go, you know, for across the country and back or something like that and never touch a gravel road, I might go with a different tire. I might go with an 80-20 or 70-30 or something a little less aggressive. But I think a little bit of vibration, a little bit, and it's not significant, but there's maybe a tiny bit of vibration that the knobby tires add that is well worth the extra traction and just that feeling of safety and comfort when you're not on the highway. It's well worth it. The V-Strom, a few extra features on the V-Strom. It has a double disc brake on the front. You have tons of stopping power. You've got an adjustable windshield. I'm not a tall guy, so I keep it down fairly low, but depending on your helmet, your height, etc., you can raise it up quite a bit. The hand guards, the bush guards, they're awesome. They're very sturdy. You can see mine are scuffed up a little bit. Better them than the bike, right? The one thing I'd like to add at some point is radiator protectors for both my rads. You got an oil cooler and you got your main rad up here. I'd like to add that. Other than that, it's got everything that I need. I can't really see changing it up any differently. An engine guard on the bottom, maybe to keep your oil filter a little more protected because it's out there, it's kind of exposed. But you've got such a big back fender coming off your front tire that it's not throwing anything into your oil filter anyway, but I don't know. Anyway, I love the bike and I highly recommend it. And it's probably the most versatile bike on the market. I think from what I've heard, and it's been said many times, and I agree that it does everything well. It doesn't do anything great, but it does it all well. Anyway, thank you.